and thinking they didn't need to hear this every week. They didn't need to hear this twice a week. They didn't need to be with you. They could kind of do it on their own, Lone Ranger types. They didn't need to commit. Oh no, they don't need to commit. They go everywhere. They bounce over here. They're at Brother Bucket Mouse over here, and then they're at Sister Good Lookings over here, and next week a prophet comes in, and so they run down river to get a word from God. They never bother to open their Bible, but honey, they'll drive 100 miles to hear one. Let me tell you what I've seen. It's been my experience to see it. And it's taken all these years to be able to say that. I was saved in 76. I've served the Lord a long time. I've seen a lot of situations. Now, I've been in ministry almost all of that time. Therefore, I've had the privilege of watching people's lives. And I'll tell you this. The people that are committed, not just come, but the people that are committed to a local church are more like Jesus than people who do not. The people who do not come to church faithfully, they're always struggling with being like 2 Timothy chapter 3. And my friends, it's a process. It's a process. Let me tell you, I know it's a process. When you first give your heart to God, you start coming to church, and all of a sudden things start to change on the outside. You know? Some of the easy stuff. You know, you stop your drinking, you stop your cussing, you know, those type of things, those outward things. You know, most Christians give up cigarettes. But as the process moves on and you continue to go, something happens. Your discipleship process becomes deeper. The outside things fall away rather quickly. But then the Holy Spirit begins to work on the inside of you. Why did you get angry at that person? Why do you feel the way you feel? What's your motivation in doing what you just did? You see, that's the kind of stuff that you've got to deal with, because the outward stuff follows that inward stuff. And I've learned something. I've learned if you're not always at it, well, what did the teacher say? What did my math teacher say? She said, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And she was right. She was right. You see, when I was coming up through school, I was in high school, you know, I'd sit down with the counselor and they'd say, well, you know, let's see what you need to do. And I said, look, I want to get out of here as fast as possible. I don't want to take an extra nothing. Sorry, that's dumb decision? Yes, of course. Because there were a few math classes that I could have taken to prepare me for college, and I said, I don't want to go through all that stuff. You know, hey, man, I live in the Herman Gardens. I ain't going to college. I don't need all of that stuff. And the counselor said, well, you know, you're really good at math. And I was, man. Math came really easy to me. I don't know why. It just did. All that algebra stuff, it just was nothing to me. So she said, well, why don't you take some of it? I said, no, I said, I don't need that stuff. She said, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Today, if any one of my kids come to me and say, Dad, would you help me with algebra? I do this. I wear garlic. I don't remember a thing. You know why? Because I'm not around it. I wasn't using it. Listen to me, please. That might be a corny story. It's a true one, but it might be corny. But listen to me. You don't stay around the things of God. You don't stay plugged in. I mean committed to a local church. You will drift away. I promise you, you will. You hear me right now and listen to me. You let the cares of this world keep you out of this place. You let everything become more important than the services that are provided here for you. Sunday night education. You allow your children to do whatever they can do to get out of coming here and learning about the Bible on Sunday night. And I promise you, they're going to drift away from the Scriptures. They're going to drift away from Christianity. You allow them to become more and more involved in the world, and guess what they're going to be like? They're going to be like the world. They're going to drift away from the things of God, and they're going to adhere themselves to the worldliness. Not only young people, but old folks too. Listen, beloved, You and I need this place desperately.